Out at Mother Myths. Mother Myths, M-Y-T-H-S, mothermyths.com. And mothermyths.com. So, Marie, why don't you talk to me a bit about what things look like for you in the past? Prior to coming and starting, you've been involved with the internet and blogging and some other things, but maybe talk about the past versus what your experience has been beyond the academy. You've actually been in the process longer than Michelle has. Share a bit of what that looked like, what it felt like to be in that space prior to launching Mother Myths.
It was normal, and there wasn't a lot of pain associated with it. But there was a lot of longing and a lot of this yearning inside me going, wait, I know there's something more for me. I just know it. So the change started actually before I met Garrett. I had been sitting around with my 4 kids. My youngest was 2 months old. And I was sitting there, and it was one of those days where all of a sudden I look at my clock and I'm like, dang it, it's only 10 a.m. I have how many more hours before bedtime? This day is going to be forever. So I sat down to read a book called The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And the whole time I was sitting there reading, and some of you other moms may relate to this. I was sitting there reading going, okay, be a millionaire, okay. I can help my husband by doing this. I can help my husband do this. Oh, I can inspire my husband to want to go get this job. And all of this. And about halfway through the book, all of a sudden it hit me. I went, what the heck am I doing? Trying to live my husband's life for him. I have a life too. And it's not just inside these 4 walls. There is a whole freaking world out there waiting for me to touch it. I had no idea what that looked like yet. Slowly came to, it talks about your passions, what your passions are, and I looked around my house and said, what are my passions? I have no idea. All I do is hang out with these 4 kids. This is all I do. And it hit me, I'm like, that is my passion. These 4 beautiful children are my passion. And so I started to realize that I had been living a lie as well. That I had been living that lie that a lot of us mothers live by acting like everything was fine. And in this lie, it wasn't that my life was horrible. It was just that, you know what, some days I suck as a mom. I really do. And I was blaming myself. And every time I heard my kids cry, it was just another confirmation to me that I wasn't good enough. That I, as a person, could not completely fulfill their needs. And in turn, as going through this process, I realized that they cannot completely fulfill mine as well. I get to fulfill me. I cannot leave that up to anyone else. Was that too long?
No, that was fantastic. So you've seen the shift. Talk to us about Mother Myths, which has become the result. And Maria has to say, of all of the students I've had in the past 2 years who have come into the tribe, Ryan Bradshaw, my business partner, you're going to hear from him tomorrow when I raise your hands. Neil, who's on the camera, is my other business partner. And Ryan and Neil and I were freaking out the first time we left Explosion with Marie because we hadn't checked in on her for a couple of weeks. And we give specific instructions of what people get to do in the program. And normally no one does it. And Marie did it. And it was crazy because she started putting out videos every single day, just like we had told her to do. Now since then, others, Jen, Michelle, Rob, you guys have come along too. Marie, share what became the stand though with Mother Myths. What were you wanting to expose, and then talk a little bit about your videos that you do daily, weekly at mothermyths.com.
So what Mother Myths means to me is that there are patterns that are running our lives that have been handed down to us, either by our parents or by people telling us that we're not good enough, or wherever we pick up these lies from, we continue to run our patterns from them. And these myths are created. These myths that you have to have a perfect home in order to be a good enough mom. That you have to look a certain way. That your kids cannot run around screaming at church to be a perfect mom, right? I was just telling my family the other day, things you thought you would never say to your children, One of mine is you cannot be a tiger at church. Right? So these are myths. You know, that you shouldn't have to tell your children not to be a tiger at church. That they should just know these things, right? That somehow instinctively these children are supposed to just come to you and it's supposed to be easy. And you're supposed to love being a mother. Even though you love your children, sometimes you don't love being a mother. So every time I learn a new truth, either from Garrett or from Marcy or from wherever, I like to find a way to see how that resonates with me as a mother and share that. And I get that a lot of times the things I share are not going to resonate with people out there. There are going to be videos that I make that people are going to say, she's crazy. Why on earth would she be sharing that? Like, why would she be telling people that she just yelled at her children and that she said things she wished she hadn't? And the reason is because that's a truth. What I've learned about motherhood is that it is a refining fire. And that it is hard for a reason. It is divinely inspired. And it is hard for a reason. Because every single breakdown I have, as long as I give it the chance, leads to a breakthrough. I think that would be the biggest difference between my life before and my life now. I still had all these moments that were hard, but they didn't mean anything. They were just hard, and I would beat myself up for them, and then I would have another hard one and beat myself up for it again. And now I see that every single one of these hard moments, every single time I show up in my shadow in front of those precious little children, gives me a chance to see why. They're a mirror for me. What is it that they're trying to teach me? What is it about that moment that they're trying to teach me that I get to learn? And then I also get to teach them in return how to say I'm sorry. Guess what? I showed up in my shadow, and I'm sorry. It's not about you, it's about me, but thank you for teaching me.